Welcome back to our Kids in the Kitchen. This is our fourth lesson in the Cooking and Nutrition Education series. Last week, we learned about protein, which is important in building, maintaining, and repairing tissue in the body. Protein doesn't stay, so we need it every day. We can find protein in animals and plants, meat, eggs, fish, dairy, legumes, and soy. A healthy way to eat protein is to select sources lower in fat and sodium. Raw animal proteins carry bacteria, and we need to be extra careful when handling raw meat to prevent cross-contamination. Keep raw meat separate from other foods and always clean surfaces that the raw meat has touched to keep you safe. We also learned about portion sizes and how to measure up different portions with our hands and other objects. Did you share last week's recipe and information with your family or friends? Today we will cook, clean, and eat together. We will talk about dairy and how to rethink our drink choices. We will learn how to cook simple and healthy meals. Just like last class, we will also clean up after ourselves and leave the kitchen as we found it. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to think, discuss, or if you just need more time during activities. Think about what you know about dairy. Do you eat dairy on a daily basis? Who had dairy for breakfast today? Does anyone know where dairy comes from? Dairy comes from cows, goats, and sheep. Dairy is a magical food group. It is a good source of protein, like we discussed last class. In addition, when we drink plain, low-fat milk, we benefit from its healthy carbohydrates and healthy fats. It is also a good source of vitamins and minerals, specifically vitamin D and calcium. How does dairy fit on my plate? Dairy is the portion next to the plate. Fill in the blank. Milk times 3 is good for me. Has anyone ever heard this saying before? Having 3 servings of milk each day gives us 3 doses of protein, calcium, and vitamin D. Does anyone know why we need to choose low-fat dairy products? Full-fat, high-fat dairy products gives us bad fats that we do not want to put too much of in our bodies. Choosing low-fat foods and healthy fats is an easy solution. Looking at each of these milks, we can see that fat-free milk has 0 grams of fat. 1% low-fat milk has 2.5 grams of fat. 2% reduced fat milk has 5 grams fat, and whole milk has 8 grams of fat. Drinking skim milk, which is fat-free instead of whole milk, reduces the calories but not the nutrient content. Here's a tip. If you don't like the taste of skim milk, try to mix skim milk into the milk you drink now so that you can get used to the taste and texture. You may have noticed on those nutrition labels that the type of fat in milk is called saturated fat. This is the same type of fat found in processed meat, butter, cheese, and ice cream. If we eat too many saturated fats, it could increase our risk of heart disease. Trans fats are another type of unhealthy fats found mostly in fried foods and should be limited. Unsaturated fat is a healthier fat that actually benefits our heart. We can eat nuts, seeds, avocado, and vegetable oils to reap these benefits. Other names for healthy fats are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. You can find out if there are healthy fats or unhealthy fats in your food by reading the nutrition facts label. I mentioned that dairy is a good source of calcium. Calcium is important for growing bones and healthy teeth. Can anyone guess how many bones we have in our body? The human body has 206 bones. Sometimes as we get older, our bones can get brittle and break more easily. This is called osteoporosis. If we get enough calcium when we are young, we can help prevent this problem in the future. Dairy is also rich in vitamin D. Vitamin D helps our body absorb calcium, so dairy is a perfect package to get the important nutrients we need. Vitamin D is like the toothpaste to our toothbrush. You won't benefit from brushing your teeth if you don't use toothpaste, just like our body cannot benefit from calcium without vitamin D. Does anyone know another way we can get vitamin D? The sun. It is recommended that we get 30 to 60 minutes of physical activity or exercise every day and it is a great time to run around outside and get some extra vitamin D. Now we are going to do an experiment to show the effect of dairy on our bones. I'm going to fill 1 glass with milk and another with dark soda. Then I'm going to place a calcium tablet in each cup. The calcium tablet represents our bones because our bones are made of calcium. Our bones are also made up of protein. We will revisit our experiment in about 30 minutes. We know that milk is a source of dairy. What other foods are considered dairy products? Yogurt, cheese, and milk-based desserts such as ice cream. Ice cream is a sometimes food that we should not eat every day. We have talked about serving sizes and portion sizes in the past couple lessons. Let's use those skills to figure out the portion size of different dairy products. Here is a nutrition label for a carton of milk. First, look at the label. Then read the top section right below the words nutrition facts. How much milk is in a serving? 1 cup. How much yogurt is in a serving? 3/4 cup. How much cheese is a serving? 1 ounce. How much ice cream is a serving? 2/3 cup. Does anyone know someone who is lactose intolerant? Some people cannot drink milk from animals, so they choose something different, like special milk with an enzyme that helps them digest it, or a milk alternative. Have you ever seen food products like almond, coconut, or soy milk at the grocery store? Has anyone ever tried these? Milk alternatives such as almond milk and even orange juice can be fortified, meaning that nutrients are added in with calcium, but they miss out on other essential nutrients in milk. We learn that each type of milk contains protein, calcium, and vitamin D, but some are healthier than others. Plain white milk contains 12 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to about 3 teaspoons. Flavored milks, including chocolate milk and strawberry milk, have double the amount of sugar and can contain anywhere between 22 to 30 grams, or about 5 to 7 teaspoons of sugar. This large amount of sugar digests quickly and leads to an energy crash. This is similar to what we learned about enriched grains in our lesson about whole grains. We need to be aware of the amount of sugar we're drinking in our beverages throughout the day. How can we find out how much sugar is in our drinks? We can look at the nutrition facts panel for the sugar content in our beverages just like we do for food. Let's look at some common drinks. Gatorade has 21 grams of sugar, which is about the same as flavored milk. In this example of iced tea, there are 31 grams of sugar. Energy drinks have 27 grams of sugar in 1 serving, and in the entire can there are 54 grams of sugar. Orange juice has 23 grams of sugar. This is made from 100% fruit. Fruit naturally has sugar, and 3 oranges fit into 1 8-ounce serving of orange juice. The last nutrition label is a 16-ounce bottle of Coke, which is 65 grams of sugar. That is over 5 times the amount of sugar in a cup of plain milk. We talked a lot about how much sugar is in our drinks. How much sugar do you think is recommended to limit ourselves to each day? Children should limit their sugar intake to 6 teaspoons or 25 grams in 1 day. How much sugar does the average American eat in 1 year? Over 150 pounds. That is equivalent to more than 41 teaspoons or 173 grams of sugar per day. Now, I'm not saying that you should avoid all sugar. It's okay to eat it, but it should be considered a sometimes food that we should be aware of the portion sizes that we choose by reading the nutrition facts label. What happens if we drink a lot of sugary beverages? Energy spikes and crashes, causing us to crave more sugar. We can get cavities in our teeth, and it may lead to unhealthy weight gain. Let's check on our experiment. What do you think happened to the calcium tablets in the milk and the soda? The calcium tablet dissolved in the milk. The calcium tablet did not dissolve in the soda. This is because milk supports calcium and soda does not. Brainstorm ways to reduce sugar intake. Drink water, flavored fruit and vegetable infused water, dilute juice with water, mix soda with sparkling water, and compare nutrition fact labels to choose a drink that is lower in sugar per serving, and drink less sugary beverages. It is best to drink 3 glasses of low-fat milk, or get our dairy from other food sources, and get the rest of our hydration from water. We need about 6 to 8 cups or 64 ounces of water each day. Fruit-infused water is a great alternative to beverages like soda pop, energy drinks, and punch. In order to infuse the most flavor, prepare your fruit infused ahead of time and allow it to sit for an hour or so before drinking it. For today's activity, we're going to make our own beverage with seltzer water, orange juice, and fruit. First, fill your cup with the fruit you would like in your drink. Then, add a splash of orange juice and fill the rest with seltzer water. Let's look at what we'll be cooking up today. We will be making yogurt parfaits with homemade granola. The first recipe will be for the granola. This recipe serves 9 people, a 1/3 cup per serving. The ingredients we will need are 4 tablespoons honey, 2 tablespoons canola oil, half a teaspoon ground cinnamon, 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats, 4 tablespoons of sliced almonds, non-stick cooking spray, and half a cup dried fruit. The cooking materials that we will need are baking sheet, fork or whisk, large bowl, measuring cups, measuring spoons, and a medium bowl. The instructions are: preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a large bowl, add honey, oil, and cinnamon. Whisk with a fork or a whisk. Add oats and almonds. Stir until well coated with honey mixture. Coat a baking sheet with non-stick cooking spray. Spread the oat mixture evenly onto the sheet. Bake until lightly browned, about 10 to 15 minutes. Stir every 5 minutes to cook evenly. Watch closely to be sure granola does not burn. Remove from oven. Let dry completely. Transfer cooled granola to a medium bowl. Stir in dried fruit. Okay, now let's look at the recipe for the yogurt parfait. This recipe serves 6 people, 1 parfait per serving. The ingredients we will need are 4 cups of fresh or thawed frozen fruit, 3 cups of non-fat plain yogurt, 1½ cups granola. The cooking materials that we will need are 6 cups or small bowls, a cutting board, a sharp knife, measuring cups, and measuring spoons. The instructions are: if using fresh fruit, rinse, peel, and trim as needed. If using frozen fruit, drain excess juices. Cut fruit into a 1/4 inch thick slices. There should be about 3 to 4 cups total. Layer a 1/4 cup of yogurt into each of the 6 cups or bowls. Top with a 1/4 cup sliced fruit and 2 tablespoons granola. Repeat layers 1 more time, ending with a layer of granola. Now that we have read our recipes, we are ready to begin our meal preparations. Remember, before we start cooking, we need to wash our hands, gather our ingredients, and review the recipe instructions. If you are in a classroom with other students, it may be best to split up the work. Discuss with the class how you're going to work together to prepare our meals. Don't forget to ask any adults in the room if you have any questions or need help. I'm going to show you a quick demonstration to guide you through your meal preparation. After the food demo, pause the video until you're all done cooking. First, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to take my large bowl and then I'm going to start adding some of my ingredients. So first, I'm going to add the 4 tablespoons of honey. Next, I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then I'm going to use a whisk, or you could use a fork, to mix together these ingredients in the bowl. Now I'm going to mix in 2 cups of oats. And then I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of sliced almonds. Now that I have all of my ingredients, I'm going to stir everything up until it's well combined. Now that we've mixed together our granola, we're going to spray a baking pan with our non-stick cooking spray. And now I'm going to stir out our granola out of the bowl and onto the baking sheet and spread it out evenly. And then we're going to put this into the oven and bake for about 10 to 15 minutes. You may want to check on it every 5 minutes or so and kind of toss it around and flip it so that it doesn't burn. Once you remove it from the oven, set it aside and let it dry completely. Transfer your cooled granola to a medium-sized bowl. Add half a cup of dried fruit of your choosing to the granola once it is completely cooled in your bowl. All right, so now that we have our homemade granola made, we're going to follow the rest of the recipe for our yogurt parfait. You can use about 3 or 4 cups of either fresh or frozen thawed fruit. If you are using fresh fruit, make sure that you clean, peel, and rinse any of your fruit before you start cutting it. And if you're using larger pieces of frozen thawed fruit like strawberries or whatever else you're using, you may want to cut those up into about 1/4 inch thick pieces as well. If I want about 3 or 4 cups, I'm just going to measure out how much I've cut so far. And I'm going to set these aside into a bowl. So I have 1 cup, 2 cup, and then I'll use blueberries for the rest of my cups. Now we are ready to assemble our yogurt parfaits. So I'm going to start with 1/4 cup of yogurt. And then I'm going to do 1/4 cup of our fruit mix. And then 2 tablespoons of our granola. And then repeat the process until you've filled your parfait to the top, and make sure that you fill it with the granola on top. What did everyone think of today's recipes? What would you do differently if you made this recipe at home? Our recipe included yogurt from the dairy food group. We need 3 servings of dairy each day. How can we get enough servings of dairy each day? In today's activity, we made our own fruit-infused beverage. Think about what else you could do to reduce your intake of sugar from beverages. While planning the healthy choices that you can make from now until our next class, remember, we need 3 servings of dairy each day in order to help our bones grow and keep our teeth strong. Milk, yogurt, and cheese are all dairy products. Dairy is also in other products such as ice cream, which should be eaten less often. Dairy is a good source of calcium and vitamin D. We should limit saturated, unhealthy fat intake by choosing fat-free or low-fat milk. Unsaturated fats are healthier fats and can be found in vegetable oils, fish, and avocados. Lastly, choose drinks that are lower in sugar. Thank you for joining our Kids in the Kitchen class. Next week, we will learn about fueling up with breakfast and do a final course review. Please remember to clean up. I'll see you next time.